I'm here, I'm queer, and I'm ready to steer. I had that planned way different, if I could just be honest with you. But I digest. We're getting it going. We got the solo news edition grappling with up in your nuts right now, okay? So Chris obviously isn't here to hold me back. That doesn't mean anything. It just means I'm going off the cuff a little bit. So if I say something, it is what it is. Don't get offended. Thank you. I got a disclaimer. Big news. Big news. CJI came out with their dates, it was a little worrisome because last time, of course, CJI, they pulled that move where it's at the same time as ADCC. It caused us all to have a little bit of a fit because I'm like, well, I don't want to watch this. I want to watch this. I don't want to miss this. And those are long ass days. Those days are brutal. And CJI, hopefully, Craig, I know you're listening, you tell the venue that people can leave and come back. That was, in my opinion, that was the biggest mistake of CGI was if you went to the venue, you you got a little wristband, cute little thing, doesn't matter. You can't leave, go get a hamburger, go get some of those tortas from the Mexican spot on the strip, Gordos or something like that. Place is busy as hell. All the white people, the gringos, are getting that carne asada and that pollo, and then you got all the brown people getting them like pig guts or whatever the hell it is. I just stayed away from it, honestly. I just wanted that guy to shave off that little cone, give me that little pineapple on the top, and he drops it in there. That's all I needed. Anyways, that sucked. So we got to the point where like literally we stayed, and then all the heavyweights were first, sucked the life out of the room. Sucked the life out of the room to the point where I was like, I'm out. On the first day, done. So I'm a weenie. Just it is what it is. My whole team gave me enough shit. You don't got to do it too, and I regret it actually. Anyways, please keep me on track. CJI. The big thing was they said it was going to be in August, and that's when Master Worlds is the biggest tournament of the year in Jiu-Jitsu. If you go by how many people actually attend and go and compete, Master Worlds, not Master International Worlds. And I see you guys. I see you guys that put World Champion or Masters World Champion in your bios. And then, yeah, I'm looking. I keep track of the Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds stuff. Okay? And Bodoni. I don't think that's right. Yeah. I keep track of all that. Why? Because my wife is fully invested, which means I'm fully invested. So I know all the details, okay? And I take those details into when I see someone that says they're a master world champ or a world champ, I'm gonna look. And when all I see is master international, you're a liar. You're a bald-faced liar. Bold-faced liar. Okay? I just saw this guy on BJJ Fanatics, or I got like served an ad for BJJ Fanatics, and it's an American white guy. He's like 3-time world champion or multiple time world champion. I was like, who the fuck is this? Who is this? I know Jameel Hill Taylor. I know Mikey Musumeci. I know this BJJ. Who is this guy? Some big ass heavyweight. So I go look him up. If I remember right, he hadn't even won like Master Worlds. And then there's another guy, fucking Sleeman, Bull Sleeman, or whatever, some Canadian dude. This guy's got all this like stuff in his profile. He's got BJJ Fanatics. He's good at jiu-jitsu. The other guy, the big guy's probably good at jiu-jitsu too. The reason I was debating on saying Sleeman's name is just because, well, we're probably going to compete against each other. So, but whatever. It's like got a litany of stuff in there, and you're like, guys, preface it. You're crapping on our own sport when you say you're a multi-time world champion or you're a master world champion when it's not actually master worlds, it's masters international or American nationals or You say you're a national champion. Guys, we all know. We all, if anybody has competed for a bit, we all know that's horse pucky. You're telling me you're a middleweight master 3 black belt and you put world champion multi-time? Tell me when you beat Formiga. I'm waiting because ain't nobody beat that man in the last like 10 years in our division. Okay, Master 2 when he was that, and then Master 3. That guy can put it in there. I'm all over the place. CJI. So, I'm just saying you guys are faking the funk and it ain't tight. You guys could be super good at jiu-jitsu. Why devalue the sport? You're devaluing what it means to be a world champion or a master world champion. I don't get it. I don't get it. Or when you're a color, oh, okay, don't even get me. I'm moving on. CJI. So CJI, the worry was Master World is always at the end of August typically, in Vegas, and CJI. Are they gonna do it where there's 15 plus thousand people going to Master Worlds? There's 10,000 plus competitors. So are they going to go in the end of August? But if CJI is mid-August, how many people are going to skip out on Master Worlds to go to CJI? In my opinion, probably not as much as people that would go to CJI, or excuse me, would actually go to Master Worlds and skip out on CJI, which doesn't help, one, the sport, doesn't help the event. Like we want CJI to do good, right? So this is the big news. It came out. They are doing it the same weekend. I think this is the best play. They take advantage, just like at ADCC, of people already got their tickets. They already made plans. They're spending thousands of dollars to go to the Devil's Playground, known as Las Vegas, Nevada. So this was a good play. I love it, especially because a lot of us old people, black belts and browns, we're gonna go Thursday, Friday. Does it start Wednesday as well? I can't remember if they do stuff on Wednesday, but I know when I competed, it was Thursday, and they had 16 mats for just black belts for a full day. Boom, that's how big it is. Right next to those 16 mats was another 12 or 14 mats, I can't remember, for just brown belts until it got to the very end of the day. Then the purple belts started coming on. That's how big this tournament is. Then Jiu-Jitsu Con's going on at the same time for all the young bucks. They can laugh at all of our TRT guys over here while they're just still full body testicles working great. You know what I'm saying? So, that was weird. I get it. Wish I could take it back. Moving on. So, it's going to be at the same time. Fantastic. It's going to be Saturday, Sunday again. So, if you're going to compete Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you're good. You do that. Maybe you go watch your teammates, your purple belts, your blue belts, or whatever that are competing on the Saturday. Then you just go to Thomas and Mack. It's at Thomas and Mack Arena, same one it was on Mack Arena, same one it was at last year. So that's cool. Just that they better get the freaking thing where you can leave. I'll freak out and I'll burn the whole place down. So awesome. Another big thing with CJI. Oof, I love it. Professor Andrew, my guy, my dude, my homosexual friend that I am gay with. I'm not calling him a homosexual as in like, you're a homo and I'm not. No, I'm saying we are gay together. We had a disagreement. He prefers, what's it called? Not the quintet style, but like almost like a wrestling duel style, where you get, let's say, 5 guys on your team, 5 guys on their team, and then they all have individual weight classes. So your 100 kilo guys going against their 100 kilo, your 90 kilo going against theirs, blah, blah, blah. He likes that, and then there's team points and so on and so forth. I like quintet style, which is like King of the Hill. Because then you get mismatches. You get your Gio Martinez versus Hasim Rita. You get your William Tackett against Joao Roca. Hoka, excuse me. I love that. And then you get your cases where Craig Jones has to run through 3 guys in a row in matches that you would never see. I love it. Now, the downside, people could game the system. Because let's say, Craig Jones is coming in, or Nicky Rod's coming in, dudes that are going to be super hard to beat. You're hard to submit because you typically only get points for the sub, team points. Well, so they would send someone in to go against the top dog and just be like, dude, just don't do jiu-jitsu. Just chill. And if there's a big enough weight disadvantage, they shorten the round. So I forgot what the weight disadvantage is, but once it gets to a certain point, the round is like 4 minutes long rather than 6 minutes or something of that sort. So it makes it a little bit easier to stall out. If anyone's done jiu-jitsu against someone that doesn't want to do jiu-jitsu, it doesn't matter if the skill disparity is like pretty big. It could be really hard to submit someone. Well, you will now get a point. The team will get a point if, let's say, Nicky Rod just beats the hell out of Andrew Tackett, just size disadvantage, and he's just positionally beating him, but he never subs him. Well, before, both guys are out, and they're both essentially DQ'd for that round, and then the next two people come on and 0 points are awarded. Now, Nicky Rod, who was obviously the winner in that scenario, he stays in because the refs decide on the spot who they feel won, and then Nicky Rod's team would have gotten a single point. Subs, I think, are worth 2 points, maybe 3, I can't remember. But it makes it, one, teams won't just run away. 2, the stalling gets rewarded. And then also the person stays in, which I really like that. So this is just a setup to get some really dope matchups. Really cool. With that, I got a little listola here. The 10th Planet team has already confirmed their lineup, which is pretty sweet. 10th Planet confirmed Gio Martinez, PJ Barch, Ryan Aitken, Kyle Bohm, Bohm, and Alan Sanchez. I think this is probably one of the better 10th Planet lineups that we've seen because all very submission oriented, all of them, right? Swapping out Richie Martinez, I think, was a really good idea. Putting Ryan Aiken in there. Ryan Aiken's on a freaking tear. If you saw him at, what was that, Who's Number One? He just did good. He submitted Pedro Mourinho at ADCC or CJI, whatever it was. Freaking dude's on a tear. Dude's a submission hunter. PJ Barch, top of the food chain, right? That guy, if he loses, it's typically only to the very, very best, unless it's Mateusz Szczecinski, which that guy could submit anybody at any time while also losing to anybody at any time. Alan Sanchez, he's probably honestly, I wouldn't even say Alan Sanchez is the lowest. I think he's the least known out of those guys, but he's a killer. Dude's a killer. I would say Gio, being a little more aged and stuff like that, he's going to be a little bit more of the loose end, which feels like sacrilege saying that because Gio Martinez is borderline legend status, at least for the 10th Planet guys. So that's the 10th Planet team. We'll see if anybody gets hurt or anything like that, but good contenders. Remember, they really want submission hunters, not just guys that'll win. They want dudes that can submit, so you can stack those points, you can stay in, and put the other team in some pressure. So possible teams, we have New Wave. They're actually considering doing this. They've come out and said they are considering doing the CGI. B team, obviously. AOJ, love it. Absolutely love it. Atos, that's going to be a hard out for anybody. Checkmat, I think, is maybe the dark horse, you could say. I would maybe say Checkmat's the dark horse in this. I think a lot of people, because it's no-gi and all that, they're going to lean towards that B team New Wave setup. Obviously, it really depends if Gordon's on New Wave. Yeah, that really depends if Gordon's on New Wave. Or if even Craig's on B team, which would be amazing. But it doesn't seem like that's going to happen because he's obviously running the event and everything he's put out, he said he would just do a super fight. So Checkmat. Then you get Daisy Fresh. They are throwing a team potentially together. Alianse and a Misfits team. So the Misfits team, the only person I've heard as potentially being on that team is Pat Downey. I would love to see him and Nicky Rod just clash. Pat Downey was just on a British podcast. I don't remember their name. I'm sorry, and it was pretty entertaining. The guy's actually comes off like a douchebag, but he's also kind of likable. It's pretty interesting. I think I identify with it. So he's the first guy that I've heard on that, unless they let him on Fight Sports, because he technically is on Fight Sports' team, but he's kind of like a not a full-time guy. And CJI has said they don't want these like super teams where, you know, Mika Govao and Baby Shark are on Fight Sports. Let's say like you guys were a part of Fight Sports for 3 months and you got popped for steroids. Yeah, you're not a Fight Sports guy. You're Melky Govao. Now, let's go into some of the rumors, the rumor mill. Okay. We have potential new wave lineup. Gordon Ryan, which I think Gordon's petty enough that he would not do the event just because it's Craig's, which is so dumb. That is so dumb. Um, Luke Griffith, Giancarlo Bodoni, Oliver Taza, and Dorian Olivares. That's a good freaking team, man. That is a good team. A lot of tough outs there. Luke Griffith, he's submittable. We've seen that. Taza is tough to submit. Taza is tough to submit, but we have seen it before. Now, could they swap out maybe a Luke Griffith for a Marigali? Hello. You just wetted my little whistle. That's all I'm gonna say. So that's a potential lineup. Would love to see it. Is there anybody you guys know? I don't want to see Tunin. I'd love to watch him. I just in this, he just hasn't looked the same. So I'm not quite interested in that. Is there anybody on New Wave that I don't that we didn't say that you guys put in the comments if New Wave has someone that I'm not thinking of. Then on the B team, we got your Nicky Rod, your Declan Moody, your J Rod, Joseph Chen, and Ethan Krellinston. That's a savage lineup. I like that J Rod and Joseph, they can honestly, they have a chance against all the big guys. We'll talk about Polaris here in a little bit, but if you saw Joseph Chen against Bones Johnson, Devontae Johnson, Joseph Chen's a savage, bro. So, B team, real good possibility, and everyone knew that. Then you got Autos, both Rotolos, Kynan Duarte. I mean, that right there. How do you beat Kynan Duarte? How do you eliminate Kynan Duarte and then both Rotolos? I feel like it's gonna it would literally take a Gordon Ryan, Nicky Rod. I mean, do you see Nicky Rod submitting the Rotolos? Not really. Like to submit the Rotolos, I feel like you'd have to be like a Pato, maybe a Mika Gavao. You know what I'm saying? Like, holy smokeronis. And then kind of Duarte, this guy, I feel like there's possibly three dudes. Four, I know Kynan does lose randomly to random guys, but I feel like it's been a little while since he's had any of those goofy losses, like a Tex Johnson type of thing. But Gordon, Craig, Nicky Rod, some leg locker. You know, I guess we could see someone like a Kyle Bame or Bohm or something like that. But it just seems like Kynan's so good at hiding his legs now that that weak moment, it's still there, that weak point, but I think he could still do something. So that's just a murderous team. And in that fifth spot, CJI put out Bruno Frazado. I'm like, what? From the senior center? I mean, what are we talking about? I'd say maybe more something like a Lucas Barbosa, Mike Perez. We could see in there that guy that just did super good at the Crown. I forgot his name, but yeah, who would you guys say Atos at a 66 kilo, like a real small dude? The thing is, they don't have to be Atos headquarters. They could be Atos San Paulo, Sao Paulo, something like that. Oh, just seeing this team, the AOJ team, Gutenberg Pereira. Dude's a killer, obviously. Last guy to pass Marigali's guard. Jonatas Gracie. Dude does not get enough cred, for sure. That guy has that he's hard to submit, hard to just beat in general. Um, Dude looks amazing right now. Tynan Dalbra, don't even gotta say anything more. Cole Abach. Cole Abach. Phenom. Diego Pato, the ringer. Diego will go against any one of these mofos. Obviously, we did see him lose that in the open weight, but ADCC. But the guy is so freaking game, and he's such a submission hunter. Who knows what could happen with that? Let's just do a little, you know, possibility. How about Team Checkmat? Okay. Obviously, you got the Tackett brothers. You got Lowe, Francisco Lowe, big submission hunter. Some people say Elder Cruz. I would like to see Warzinski in there instead, personally. But there is a rumor already that Marcus Buchecha, 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 making a comeback to Jiu-Jitsu. We'll see. We'll see. That's a dark horse team, I think, right there. I think they could do a lot of damage if Buchecha can get back into jiu-jitsu timing and all that kind of stuff. Misfits, talked about them. Gracie Baja, nothing against Gracie Baja. I don't see it happening. Unity, that could be a good one. Roberto Jimenez, Sebastian Rodriguez, Juni Acasio, Johnny Bones, or Devontae Bones, excuse me. Hashtag no racism. Then who'd be the fifth? I think it'd be kind of cool if we actually had a female on each team and then did like intramural. I'm equal opportunities. Are you? Just saying. Put a little like Fion in there or something like that. She probably should be with Autos, I guess, huh? Because of the JT Torres connection. That's another guy on Autos, JT Torres. What? I'm clicking through. They got Fight Sports. They got some funny ones in there. Jonathan's going back to AOJ. Jonathan Alves. The guy's good. I'm not pooping on the guy. I'll take my poop off of his chest and put it on my own. I'm not pooping on his chest. I'm just saying, in a Nogi submission-oriented tournament, no. Points, the guy's Thanos. You give that guy a lapel 50-50, he's going to ruin your whole day. He's going to ruin my day watching the damn match because it's so freaking boring. But, Nogi submission, go get a water, huh? Okay, this is a good one. Alliance. Now, the submission hunter part is my concern. Kennedy Maciel, phenomenal, great, perfect. Fabricio Andre Kegi, people in the steeple. Dude's super good, obviously submission hunter. And then it kind of falls off on the submission hunter road, okay? Another checkmate guy that I forgot to mention, Gomez. Dude got hurt for a while, just coming back. Obviously, Jansen Gomez could be a murderer too. Anyways, back to Alliance. Isaac Doderlin. What's the ADCC winner's name? He's super boring. Oh, Mateus? Deniz. That dude's super hard to submit. But dang. He's like the Nogi version of Jonathan Alves. Can't do it. Then they got Tractor. Just the submission hunter side, I don't see it. I think it's difficult. I'm gonna click through back to the beginning. They got the Dagestanis, USA Wrestling, UFC, Daisy Fresh, Pixley, Jacob Couch, Dante Leon, Brandon Reed. And then you could throw the fifth in there, maybe that Max Hansen or someone of that sort. There's 3 guys in there that are super dangerous, obviously, with your Pixley, your Couch, and your Dante. Brandon Reed, I mean, he's doing nothing but getting better. That guy, who knows, in 6 months, from the last time we saw him at ADCC. I mean, if I remember right, he lost to Philippe Pena, right? Like, he lost to, like, top dude. So, I don't think it was a true representation, and I think he's just going to get better and better and better. Um, so he'll have a chance. Ooh, celebrities, Team Africa with Mike Perry. That's pretty legit. Um, yeah, there you go. Nicky Ryan's out of B team. He got injured, or not injured, but he's having surgery, so that's why Nicky Ryan is not on that team. You could probably throw an Owen Jones in there if you wanted to, just to spice things up. So that's CJI during Master Worlds. I love it. Tell me if you guys are going. I'm going. Straight up, I'm going to both, and Olivia's going to have to deal with it. Hopefully she doesn't hear this. Moving on. Please watch Polaris USA versus Europe. The only reason is because it's going to give you an idea of what the rule set is for CGI this go around, and you'll see how like some of these matchups are awesome. The people don't even know who they're going against. So Joseph Chen doesn't know when he submits the first guy, he doesn't know who the second guy is. Is it Bones Johnson? Is it PJ Barch? Is it Alan Sanchez? You don't know. Like that's kind of the cool part, and they only have a minute in between to pick, so it's pretty cool setup, and that's what we got to see here. The European team had a couple guys that I don't remember their name. I've watched them a bunch, like that Lillard, Samsonite. I can't remember his name, but he's really good European. I think he's won the Euro trials, ADCC trials. They had Joseph Chen on their team. They had Owen Jones, but he hurt his knee. So then they got this brown belt, I think brown belt world champion, Nogi world champion, this Polish dude, super good. Owen O'Flanagan, which is always fun to watch, which there was a surprise submission with him. Better watch that. And then the Team USA, they were supposed to have Pat Downey, but he got hurt. But they had PJ Barch, Alan Sanchez, Bones Johnson. Oh, failure. There was a couple other really good names. Gosh, I suck balls. Just watch it. It was good. It was entertaining. Helena Craver, she did a super fight. Won as usual. Spoiler alert. So I recommend watching that so you can actually see some of the like what it's going to be like. And I think they're even going to adjust the points, or not, excuse me, the rules a little bit from this. Like it's almost like a trial. They're seeing how it goes. So very entertaining on UFC Fight Pass. Don't have UFC Fight Pass, you can sign up for a free 7-day trial. Just saying. On to the next. Now, this is the last thing, because there has been so much crap. Ecological debate. I feel dumb even saying that word, because as Professor Andrews says, it sounds like you're planting trees. It's a marketing issue. If they would have called it something not that, I think and had a better ambassador besides the guy that pisses everyone off and doesn't care that he pisses off people, but then he does care, but then he intentionally uses words. Greg Saunders, after watching a ton of interviews, the dude's not as bad as he comes off. If you watch his interview or podcast, whatever it is, with the Kevon, the guy from Bodega Jiu-Jitsu, which is also an ecological bro or whatever you want to call it, he likes that system, or is a big believer in it. That podcast, actually, you see Greg be like a normal person, because he's talking to someone that I feel like he doesn't feel like he has his guard up. He still uses big, stupid ass words. Gosh, I'm trying not to say those words for the algorithm. So he still does word salad and intentionally uses words that no one uses. I relate it to like financial bros. When dudes in the financial sector are talking about deploying capital with my liquid. As a business owner, I hate when I talk to these people. Just naturally, because of the businesses I do that are my customers, I'm around a lot of CEOs and CFOs and COs, C-level management basically. And it is absolutely brutal. The like lawyer speak and financial speak that these people use. And I think that's all this is. They're just using terminology intentionally, which I feel like I do feel like they think that it's actually better to understand like people. They're trying for the right reason. I think there's also a little bit of tribalism where people want to like be different. They want to latch on to what's new, quote unquote. When if you watch the interview with Big Dan from New Wave and Tom DeBlas, Mr. I'm a moderator, but I'm gonna talk the whole freaking time. Like, dude, Tom, no more. No more, dude. You're not a moderator if the other guy in the debate doesn't talk for the first 40 minutes, besides when Greg and him kind of like shit on each other in the very beginning or have a little tiff, like you're not moderating, you're just in the conversation. It was so frustrating. One of the more frustrating 2 hours of my life, if I could be honest. And really, I'll save you the 2 hours. Big Dan and Tom, they just didn't understand what Greg was saying. And I don't blame them because Greg says stuff in weird ways intentionally. And my 2 cents is this is nothing new. Ecological training and ecological dynamics, if you look at the literature, I've talked to Chris about this, has been around for a long, long time. It's maybe just Greg is really going all in right now when it comes to this sport and this style of training. But even Greg said in the debate that we don't know. We don't know why Hodger got so good or Marcelo or the Meows or whoever. Was it the Meow brothers and Marigali and Gianni Grippo? Was it all that time drilling or all that live training or all that situational training? Because ecological training is just situational training. I've listened to so much of Greg's stuff. I've listened to Kevon's stuff. I've listened to a bunch of people's, and I haven't heard anything that says they want to say it's different than eco or situationals, but it's just a more systematized situationals and calling it games and task-based whatever. You're just putting parameters out there and saying, hey, focus on this while we go live. More tension, less passive drilling. The terminology, the separating yourself. The thing is, Greg even said, we don't know. We don't know if they got good because all the situational stuff they do or the drilling in the thousands of reps that they do. Most likely it was both. In my opinion, you got to have both. The higher level you get, the more advanced you get, the less passive drilling you're going to need. I like to do what's called workshopping, or what I call workshopping. And that's, I have a partner or a couple partner, whatever, and we're like working through it. And it's like, at first I'm going to go slow and I'm going to feel every movement. And then I'm like, oh, here, give me some tension. Give me some tension. Okay. Now okay, good. A little bit more. Okay. Now let me see how you'd react if I do this. And then it's almost like full speed. It's like 80% effort, right? And we're working through that. And then different responses. Okay, give me a different response. Don't do that. Give me a different one. It's a form of a task-based game. It's situational, like reps, It's been around forever. I agree with the Mendez brothers. They were doing this in Brazil. It's just they're systematizing it, which I think has a benefit. I think it's a good thing to like put some terminology and some structure to it. If they do develop these task-based games, which sounds super dumb, I think it is actually a good thing because then let's say they found something that really helps their students, like their mount escapes got really good because they kept doing this kind of game, if you will. Well, if they start telling people, then we can all start implementing that. Like, for example, let's just say like some of the warm-up drills that are out there that a lot of people like to do, whether that's the gorilla drill, going side to side, leg drag drills, different kind of speed drills that are movement-based that have to have high intensity. Once we started realizing that a lot of those work well, everyone starts doing them. And I think this will be similar. There's just not the best representatives at the moment. And then everyone's so tribalistic because it's new. And then the drillers get defensive again because they're like, you're saying drilling doesn't work. Well, if you watch that interview, he's not saying drilling doesn't work. But then sometimes he does insinuate that. Like he says the whole like instructionals are a waste of money and stuff. And I'm not a huge instructional person, but I do own a lot of them, and I've bought a lot of them, and I've watched a lot, and I've gotten stuff from them. 100%. Cannot say I haven't got stuff. I watch a lot of match footage. That's kind of my thing, and I rewind and slow down and blah, 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 blah. That's my 2 cents on that, on the ecological thing. Nothing new. Don't be so tribalistic. It's not all bad. It's not all good. Some people are going to learn really well with that method, and some people aren't. I'm basically a Down syndrome kid in school. I dropped out, did 2nd grade twice. So I got my ribbons. You know what I'm saying? Because that style of learning, I cannot do. I'm looking at boogers on the wall. Have me physically do something, I can learn pretty quick. Or if I'm just actually into what I'm watching. Like I can watch people do something physical and I can like take it in and implement it pretty quickly. But if I got to read something, give me 14 days and I'll read the first line 7,000 times and that's it. So, Bob's your uncle, grapplingwithpodcast@gmail.com. If you guys got any questions for the old man doctor, for me, whatever topics, want to have someone on the podcast, I'll reach out to him. Still going to wait for my gay fireman to come on, and we'll do that. Until next time, y'all. See ya!